Hello, my name is Abdul-Karim. Thank you so much for stopping by to know more about One Physical Health. Hope you will enjoy this presentation. When we talk about health, the definition that comes into our mind is the state of complete social, mental, physical well being without any signs of illnesses. Therefore, today I will be covering physical activity, medical self care, nutrition and diet, alcohol and drugs, and rest and sleep. Physical fitness or exercise, walking 30 minutes a day 3 times a week will greatly improve your health. Today, I interviewed my son, who is a physical therapist, and I have a few questions for him. Hope you enjoyed this interview. What are the benefits of consistent physical activity on successful aging?
My name is Abdul-Karim. I'm a physical therapist. I'm actually the son of the interviewer, Abdul-Karim. One of the main benefits of consistent and intermittent physical activity is that people don't know this, but it constantly lowers your resting heart rate, which is your heart rate at rest and how many beats per minute that it works. And so if you have consistent exercises and consistent activity, it lowers that over time, and that eventually prevents high blood pressure, it prevents your heart from working too hard, and that in turn prevents other comorbidities like stroke.
The second component that I will be covering is self-care. Incorporating healthy self-care practices into daily life can have lasting benefits. These don't need to be expensive or time-consuming to be effective. Self-care could involve a healthy diet, exercise, sleep, and maintain work-life balance. According to research done by Harris Poll, it shows that 60 to 70% of chronic disease we know in this world are related to self-care. So self-care plays a huge role in the well-being of people. Here's what Dr. Abdul-Karim said about self-care. What's something that is not commonly known, but something that everyone should know about self-care?
I feel like self-care, something that people don't know a lot is it's kind of like going to the dentist or getting your car checked up. A lot of people really only go to self-care when they're feeling down, or when they're feeling depressed, or when they're feeling hurt, when more often than not it should be kind of like a checkup, like a dentist checkup. So you can kind of go to physical therapy as a checkup or a tune-up just to see how everything's moving. And so I feel like a lot of people should be going to physical therapists or even doctors more routinely than they are.
So what is the relationship between self-care and mental health?
I think it's very important to think about your mental health when thinking about self-care. Nowadays, a lot of people are always on their phone and on the laptops, and everyone's kind of in a hurry. So I think it's really important to meditate in the morning, or at least sit down and just take a deep breath before you start your day, or even after you finish your day, and just meditate for 5 to 10 minutes, where you can kind of reflect on how you did for the day, and that will in turn help you in the long run in terms of stress and your self-well-being.
In this component, I will be covering nutrition and diet and its effect on the well-being. As we all know, well-balanced diet prevents diseases, and it helps with control weight. It improves mental health. We all also know that we are what we eat. We eat healthy, we feel healthy. Unfortunately, over the past decades, high processed snacks and takeaway food products that are rich in tasty fat and sugar have been replaced with fruits and vegetables and other nutritions that we should be consuming on a daily basis. Research shows that actually depression and dementia are affected by the quality of our diets across the life course. I would like to now interview Abdul-Karim, and I have some questions for her about nutrition. Hope you enjoy it.
Hello, my name is Anita Abdul-Karim. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm Rianne's niece, and today I'm here to answer a few questions about nutrition.
Good morning, Anita. Thank you so much for joining me today. My first question to you is, why is nutrition important?
Nutrition is important first and foremost for energy. We need nutrition in order to survive, in order to think, to digest, to move our bodies. So calories at the baseline is important for that very purpose, for survival. Secondly, the quality of nutrition is also important because we need a variety, and the variety of nutrients that come from different foods help with different functions in the body that we need in order to have longevity and to be able to have a healthy, fulfilling life.
Okay, very good. My second question to you is, what does a basic healthy meal consist of?
That's a great question. There are three macronutrients. There are three components of all foods, three macronutrients, and that's carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So we want to incorporate those three elements in most meals that we have, at least 2 a day. And then when we think of a meal, we kind of want to think of it as an equation. When we think of preparing our meal, we want to prepare half of the meal coming from vegetables, another 1/4 coming from protein, and the other 1/4 coming from a starchy carbohydrate. I know you're wondering, where does the fat come in? Fat is the easiest thing, I think, to incorporate into the diet because of its calorie density. So typically what I like to recommend is sprinkling fats on top. So for example, if you're preparing a meal with a salad, if you're preparing like an entree salad, you have your base veggies in the bottom, which is the majority of your meal. And then you have, maybe some chickpeas, maybe some salmon, maybe some tofu on top. And then you would typically sprinkle avocado on top, or a dressing on top. So typically the recommendation for fats is around a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons per meal.
Excellent, thank you. Alcohol and drugs also has a great effect on our physical health. 76% of men, according to this chart, die of alcohol poisoning every year. It's the majority of these men, or the people that die, are between the ages of 45 to 54. According to a research that was done and investigated over decades and centuries, it was found that alcohol consumption has actually some positive and some negative, of course, negative effects, but it does have some positive effects. The finding of the study indicates that the positive effects of a light to moderate alcohol intake that consists of 30 grams of alcohol intake per day is beneficial because it lowers the risk of cardiovascular diseases and death. Whereas the study found that the negative effect and the mortality rate increases as people increase their consumption of drugs and alcohol to reach 10 drinks per day, and it increases their risks of developing different kinds of cancers and different kind of cardiovascular diseases as well. Anita also is still with us, and here's what she says about alcohol and drugs. Okay, Anita, what are the long-term effects of alcohol consumption?
So there are a lot of very interesting studies around alcohol. We know that alcohol can damage the brain first and foremost, and that's, I think, the main concern when we talk about alcohol consumption. And a lot of people assume that because they're not binging, that alcohol is not going to have an effect on their body physically or on their mind. But there are studies that show that even small consumption of alcohol can affect the brain long term, and that may be due to the chemical components of alcohol and how it's digested in the body, but it also is indirectly related because alcohol does disrupt sleep, and when your sleep is disrupted, your brain cells are not able to regenerate as properly as they should, which can affect your long-term brain health.
Excellent, thank you. The last component that affects our physical health is the importance of rest and sleep. Many people are unaware of how essential it is to get good night's sleep on a regular basis. Skimping on sleep can cause many problems. The short-term health impacts is it increases stress, disturbs mood, impair ability to concentrate. However, the long-term health impacts to skimp on sleep it heightened the risk factors for diabetes. It increased the risk for breast cancer. It increases the chances of developing blood pressure. It decreases the immune function, and it increases depression. And last but not least, it actually is related to obesity, and it leads to overeating the next day. Here's what Abdul-Karim say about how can we get a good quality sleep. Okay, Anita, my last question to you is about sleep quality, and how can we get sleep quality, and how does it affect our physical health?
Absolutely. So I really like that you asked the question, sleep quality, because more and more research is coming out about the quality of sleep. Of course, the quantity as well. I think we all know that we need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. That depends on the person. But quality is also extremely important. A lot of the times, sleep has been interrupted, and especially now during the pandemic, people have there's been research that has shown that people have been their sleep has been disrupted, and that's because of perhaps a lack of consistency in your schedule. Consistency in your sleep schedule also can impact the quality of sleep, because your brain needs to repair itself, and the interruption disrupts that pattern of your brain interrupting, or of your brain repairing itself overnight. So first and foremost, try and get consistent quality sleep. Another thing that impacts the quality of sleep is exercise. The people who typically have desk jobs, who aren't moving physically throughout the day, have trouble sleeping or might wake up in the middle of the night. So exercise definitely enhances your quality of sleep. Nutrition, of course, as well, and staying hydrated. I know a lot of us might have had those moments in the middle of the night where we wake up extremely thirsty, and that can be disruptive. So we want to make sure that we stay hydrated throughout the day, so that the sleep isn't disrupted as well. Obviously, turning off your electronics, so that we're able to settle in a lot sooner. And I think also more specifically, there's research that has shown that having a room temperature of, I think, anywhere from 62 to 82 degrees also enhances your quality of sleep. So those are just a few bits and pieces of how to enhance your quality of sleep and make every minute count.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I hope you learned something new today about how to take care of our physical health. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.